Your work ethic has to change. Whatever you put in is exactly what you get out. The Word of God teaches us that. Whatever you sow, that's what you'll reap. Whatever much is given, much is also required. We learn within our greatest and most profound relationships that they require work. And it's not something that you could do once a week, once a month, once a year, but it's something that requires your attention every single day, throughout the day. If you want to build a strong relationship that will last the test of time, you have to put in the work. And listen, I understand completely. When you start out any relationship, it seems so easygoing. Nothing much is required of you. But in order to have a long-term relationship, your work ethic has got to change. You see, a lot of people, they ask the question of, why isn't my marriage doing well? Why is my spouse changing? You know, they're changing their behavior. They're asking for more out of the relationship. They're asking for me to do more out of the relationship. And I don't think I should have to do more, seeing that I already did enough in order to gain the relationship. But that's just it. When you have someone that you are committed to, the needs become more specified than generalized. Right? So it's like if you were taking care of a kid or going out on a date, you're going out and it's probably an hour, 2 hours. They're not asking much from you, right? The most they're asking for is probably, let's go to lunch, let's watch a movie, let's go home. Or, let's separate and go our separate ways. That's a short-term relationship. It doesn't require much work. But within a long-term relationship, there comes sickness. There comes depressions. There comes a bunch of waves of emotions that can alter the state of that individual. So yes, although you married someone that it always made you happy, always put a smile on your face, always the one that is spontaneous and bringing up jokes and changing the atmosphere and making it a better, happier place for not only you, but everyone that is around them, those type of people change based off of the events that are happening within their life. And that's why you're there. Because you remember who they are. So when they do change, when they are worsened by the blows that life may be dealt to them, you are there as the helpmeet in order to rebalance them. Take the reins of the relationship in order for them to have the time to heal from whatever is harming or hurting them or affecting them. In conclusion, you have to put work into your relationships, even your relationships with your children. As a baby, it just seems give them food, change their diaper, and send them on their way. They'll be fine. They'll sleep. They'll do what they need to do. But as that child grows, you need to build a rapport, a relationship with them where you're speaking and having a conversation where they feel as though they could come to you. Not as a friend, but as a parent. That when things get ugly within their lives, when they feel as though they can't handle a situation and the situation is only worsening, that they could come to you and say, look, mom, dad, if this is what's happening, I need help. You don't need to build friendships with your children. You need to build a rapport with them that they know who to turn to in times of need. A lot of people, a lot of parents believe they have to build friendships with their children because you're allowing them to do whatever they want to do. Instead of giving them the Word of God and showing them what they need to be doing. You're afraid to discipline the children. You're afraid to tell them that you can't do this and you can't do that. Why? Because given yourself in that same situation, you would rebel. So you try to be that cool parent. But don't forget that child would bring back everything that you told them it was okay to do, or rather, the things that you didn't tell them they shouldn't do. Why? Because they never needed a friend. They needed a mother, they needed a father, they needed a parent. In Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 8, it mentions that all things are full of labor. And we hear through songs and through the word of God that, our work will cease. So even God knows the amount of work that's entailed within our lives, and especially through the relationships within our lives. Which means that there's no time for you to be a sluggard, lazy, and say, well, I don't have time to do this. Or you're a grown man, I'm not your mom. Or I'm not, vice versa, I'm not your dad. So all these things don't need to be. People have times where they need you to step up. And yes, that requires work. Anytime you're given a role, like a CEO position or a sole proprietorship, something that requires one person and comes with a lot of power, a leader within a church or within a school or whatever the case may be, it comes with responsibilities, and responsibilities require your time. And it's not something that you could pass on for someone else to do. It's something that you have to do in order for you to ensure that it's done correctly. The whole idea is that when you're given something that not everyone has, like a marriage, or given a role that gives you a greater amount of responsibility, you have to put in the work. Because not everyone has this. The reason why not everyone has a marriage, the reason why not everyone can have a marriage, is because not everyone is willing to put in the work. Why do you think people would date for 20, 30 years and not get married? Because the work ethic is the same. Even if they're working or living together, right? The mentality is, I could leave at any moment. So what that prompts the other person, the opposing person in the relationship to do, is not ask too much from the partner. Which is why a lot of men as well as women will say, I'm not ready to be committed. What are you committed to? It's just a relationship, because they understand the work that is involved.